Hi everybody, how are you? I haven't made a video for a while. Just needed a little break, I think, and it's been on my mind recently to show my face. So here I am. I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened at the weekend. I went to a rally in Trafalgar Square, London, right? The I Do Not Consent rally, and I went with another ex-Jehovah's Witness lady, and we'd seen the footage from last week where things kind of kicked off, and we'd agreed that if anything happens, you know, we just stay out of it. Neither of us are spring chicken, we're both middle-aged women, and it's sensible to let other people get on with all the confrontation, but I found that easier said than done, because just out of nowhere, riot police turned up, and it's difficult to describe how, with emotion just takes over, your response is to just say something to them, anything at all. Well, speak for myself, that was my response. And where the platform was, it had the National Gallery behind it, and I was by the steps to the right of the platform, and the top of the steps were blocked off by this row of officers. And just the sight of them incensed me, because it had been such a peaceful day. The atmosphere at these rallies is great. It's peace, love and harmony, basically. Everybody getting along with one another, talking to strangers. The vibe's very positive and chilled, a calm atmosphere, until the police turn up. I mean, this has happened a number of times already when I've been there at Hyde Park, and I've seen peers arrested and others arrested, and the police come down heavy-handed. So I guess it wasn't too much of a shock to see them, but at the same time, like I said, your emotions take over, and I ended up going up the stairs instead of going down the stairs. You know, my friend went down the stairs, and I ended up in front of the crowd, in the front. And I was having a go at these police, calling them brown shirts. Brown shirt, you should have a brown shirt on. Where's your brown shirt? I was saying to them. And the biggest guy there is a tall, big guy. And I could see him looking at the crowd. I don't know what everybody else was saying. I mean, it was loud. People were just hurling it, whatever came out of their mouths at them. And I looked at this police officer, and he was just relishing it. This is what he wanted. And I realised, no, I've got to stop. And I turned around to the crowd, and I was like, calm. Calm. This is what they want. Calm down, calm down. And you know what? They actually listened to me. I did my good deed for the day. Well, bar one man next to me is like, no, blow this. And he carried on giving it all of that. So, yeah, at that point I said, you know what, I'm out of here. And I went to the bottom of the stairs, spoke to my friend. She was ready to go for the day, but I wanted to go on to Hyde Park. And not being a Londoner, I didn't entirely know the way there, because when I'd been a few weeks earlier, I cut through, the friend I was with, he was more familiar with London, and Leicester Square is a stone's throw from Trafalgar Square. We cut through Leicester Square and we went up Regent Street, which is one long walk. But yeah, after all this trouble had started to kick off at Trafalgar Square, there were people with loudspeakers, and they said, Hyde Park, everybody go to Hyde Park. I thought, okay, I'll just follow the crowd and I'll go to Hyde Park. But when I looked straight ahead, I could see thousands of people heading down, like towards Whitehall. I think they were headed. When we had the protest before at Trafalgar, they left there and they marched down to Downing Street. And there were thousands of people streaming out down the road that way, and then other people were following the direction to go to Hyde Park. To the right, to the left of Trafalgar, complete opposite direction basically. So I just said, I'll go to Hyde Park, and followed the crowd. You've seen the footage maybe, and the road to Hyde Park, we met these barricades of police officers stretched out across the road, but I think they were there to direct the route, seemed to me, because as soon as we reached them, they disbanded and they moved on. And it was like this all the way to Oxford Circus. Oxford Circus is on Oxford Street, and you turn left straight up the road and you're at Marble Arch. So I had trailed behind. In one video you can see I stopped to talk to these people, so I caught the tail end of the marchers. And at Oxford Street, I could see them going straight over. I'm thinking, where are they going? And the police barricade was the other side, and they followed the direction of the police, I believe. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody at the head of that was unfamiliar with London, as I was not very familiar with London. And anyway, I just said, you know what, I'm going. I know Hyde Park, up there to my left, and I walked up Oxford Street, and there were other marchers that I caught up with on Oxford Street, and I jumped on a stone bench and filmed them. Yeah, and then I was at Hyde Park. The point I'm trying to make is that the massive crowd that had been at Trafalgar as one unit, probably some went home like my friend, others marched toward Whitehall, some went up, I think it was Charing Cross Roadway, and were supposed to be going to Hyde Park, and they went straight on. And then there was other marches that were going up Oxford Street. So there were three groups at this point, so far as I could assess. And then once I got to Hyde Park, it broke out in trouble. The police got these young people, 3 young people. I think there were 2 young men and a woman. And both of these young men were crying their eyes out, and that incensed the crowd. I was calm, although I did end up at the front of this scrum around these young people. There was a ring of police, and then there was a ring of us protesters, and jostling started, and I felt, you know what, I've got to get out of here, and I retreated. I eventually went to Speaker's Corner, and somebody had just finished speaking, and then the doctor, Heike Schoening, I think his name is. I can't remember. You know the one, the doctor, the German doctor. He was speaking, and I was in the crowd, and I wanted to listen to him talk, and I had a backache since morning that was coming and going all day, and getting worse every time it came back, and I had this sudden stabbing pain in my back. So I went to sit down, so I didn't listen to the doctor speak, and I was sitting at the back of this, I think it's a coffee shop or some sort of circular structure building where there was benches, and I spoke to the people next to me, and then I heard some kerfuffle going on, and I got up, and I could see the doctor had been surrounded by a whole ring of police. Oh yeah, so before that I went to sit down, and people had marched off to Buckingham Palace. So that's a 4th set of people. That is a 4th splinter group of people that had just gone off on their own. And then there was somebody else with a speaker, a bullhorn, whatever. What those things called again? A loudspeaker, and they were saying, trying to get them to stop, you know, to stop them from marching off, but off they went. So there were some people at Speaker's Corner that the doctor was talking to, but it was a small crowd compared to the numbers that had been at Trafalgar Square. Everybody had splintered off. There was a large number of people spread out in the park from what had happened with the arrest of these 2 young men and a woman. And so really the doctor was left open for the police to easily swoop in and cart him off. And like I said, he was totally encircled by this ring of police officers, And there were other police officers that had left, that had made a sort of an alleyway for this circle of police to walk down and get the doctor off into a van, and a night at the police station in Wandsworth, which I'm sure could not have been very pleasant. Yeah, so really and truly, the police seemed determined to get this man, prevent him from speaking. All the trouble kicked off at Trafalgar when it was his turn on the mic. He must have gotten out of that there somehow. I mean, when I see the mayhem that occurred, I didn't realise it was quite that bad at Trafalgar until I got home and looked over different footage that was on internet. It seems the police had surrounded the whole platform area, and I don't know if it was their intention to arrest him and he got away, or just literally they just wanted to disperse the meeting. I don't know, but judging by what happened at Hyde Park, it seemed to me their intention that they wanted to arrest him. They gave Piers a break, because every time it's Piers that gets arrested, but they picked on this man instead because they obviously just didn't want the truth spoken from the mouth of a qualified doctor on this fraud. It was too dangerous to have that out on internet, and in London as well. So they did their best to get him, and they got him in the end. But what I'm trying to say is that I appreciate so much the effort, all the hard work that's gone into putting on these protests. It's so lovely to get a break from all the madness and be in an environment where it's just normal. There's no masks, there's no distancing, there's no tape all over the floor, no plastic shields separating you from cashiers and all that kind of stuff that we have to live with now. It's just nice to be in an open, free environment, and I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, of course, the effort that everybody's made to get such an event on, and the effort that people put in to stand up on a platform and prepare something to say, all of that, it's appreciated, I'm sure, by many others as well. But the bottom line is this is war. We are the subjects of a psychological warfare. We are under attack from our world governments, ordinary people, and the governments have the police and the military at their disposal, and we need to recognise this when we meet together, and we need to understand that we will come under attack from police, as we've done many times already, and we need to be prepared for it. I hope the organisers sit down and analyse just what happened and learn to utilise the crowd. I heard something like this happened at the protest last weekend, but it was handled a bit better. And the police had to retreat when they didn't want to. Whereas this time round, it seemed the police just totally got their way. A video I saw on YouTube, and there's a woman who's sitting on the wall, just an ordinary bystander, and she's shouting out, "They're coming, they're coming." She had to tell the event organisers and everybody else there, just shouting at the top of her voice that these police were coming into our protest. And really and truly, it shouldn't have been that way. I mean, maybe there's something that the organisers know that I don't know, but the way the event was handled from the aspect of the platform, it was brilliant. There were a number of wardens around the place with loudspeakers, but there just wasn't enough. The event, such an event in the future, would need umpteen times more wardens. I am an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and any Jehovah's Witness will tell you that when you go to an assembly of Jehovah's Witness, and I've been to one where there were 60,000 people in attendance, and they have warden overkill. They have people in yellow vests. So they stand up in the morning at every kind of like alleyway, walkway in an arena. They're all around the arena on the inside. They're dispersed evenly around the stadium. They're all around the stadium on the outside. They welcome you at the entrance. They have attendance overkill. And this is what is going to be required if there's another protest such as this. And Trafalgar Square, in the ideal world, would have needed attendance all around the edge of it, not just all around the platform. There would have needed to be attendance, like maybe even undercover lookouts down the roads nearby, as far as a field as you feel as the organisers would feel is necessary. But we need to keep an eye on the police, because they most certainly are keeping an eye on us. I saw a video, Jason Leosatis, I'll put a link to it later down below in the description, and a woman caught on camera the police being prepared to charge the last protest. And their commander was plainclothed, a little Hitler he was, doing a goose step like Basil Fawlty. So I'm going to call him Basil Hitler. This Basil Hitler was plainclothed, and there was a reason for that. Because after he's given the go-ahead for his officers to charge into the protest, he then follows them in and gets amongst us. And I realised that just after this weekend's Trafalgar, because looking over footage, I saw him in the crowd. I believe 100%, I'd put money on it that this is the commander of the police, the riot police. And he pushes through the crowd. He pushes through the line of the police and jumps in with the crowd and faces the police. Now, I doubt if he's calling them W-A-N-K-E-R. I believe that he was instructing the police. He was in the very front of our crowd, so it was as if he was one of us, but he wasn't. He was egging on the police or even instructing them, probably in some coded form. But very tall, slim man, and he's got dark glasses on and a light jacket. I will put more details in the description below. It's on a YouTube channel called Sputnik, I think. Yeah, anyway, I'll leave a link. But yeah, it would have been an amazing day, but it was spoiled. It was sad to see the doctor carted away like that. You know, he flew all the way from Germany. Well, I presume he flew. He travelled all the way from Germany to come and speak to us, and we couldn't hear him speak. And he ended up spending a night in a police cell, carted away like a common criminal, worse than a common criminal, like a terrorist. He was carted away, and shouldn't have happened. This is England, and this is what it's come to now. No freedom of speech. I mean, the plan is amazing. The way they've brought in these rules and regulations that deter us from having protests. I know David Icke says we must not acquiesce, and I don't want to. I agree with him. But I saw some footage today of a protest in Berlin, and the people were spread out. As far as the eye could see, they were spread out, and there was space amongst them, 2 or 3 meters, and they were in their own little groups, their own little social groups. So had that been Trafalgar, we wouldn't have all fitted in there. But then they would not have had an excuse to storm in, because they used the lack of social distancing, I believe, from what I've been able to to gauge from a video, other people's videos. They use the lack of social distancing as an excuse to put an end to the rally and confiscate equipment. But yeah, organisers maybe need to consider some of these things. I'm sure they will be. Keeping the crowd calm, a reminder to keep the vibe peaceful, even under provocation, because Vince, I think the name of one of the organisers who spoke on the mic, said he had to keep giving reminders about the COVID rules and regulations, but at another meeting he could keep giving reminders that if the police come in, keep calm, take advice from the people in yellow jackets. If they ask you to sit down, sit down. Yeah, we need, as a mass of people, reminders not to get rattled up the way that we did. That's what they want. That's the whole point of them coming in their riot gear, is to agitate the crowd. And then within that crowd, there'll be plants who, you know what I mean, stir that up. The young lads who were arrested, I think the two young men and the woman who were arrested at Hyde Park, I don't believe they were one of us. I did at the time. But on reflection afterwards, I said to myself, nah, it doesn't add up. They were young, they were 20-something, 21 maybe. But still, you don't start crying your eyes out in front of a whole load of people when you're being arrested. You man up, don't you? Really? Come on. And the two of them, the one standing up and the one on the ground, they were both crying. And they gained my sympathy at the time. But it was ages later, 40, 50 minutes, an hour later even, on my way home, I was thinking over things and I thought, nah. The police picked on them because they weren't on our side. And I've heard others say likewise of events that happened at Trafalgar. There are plants put amongst us, the police target them as if they're protesters, and then it all breaks loose. So live and learn. I won't ever let that happen to me again. Live and learn. I also wanted to talk about when I went to the Trafalgar Square last time, and I managed to get really near the front because of my friend. He squeezed us through. You know, I would never have tried it, but we got quite close to the platform, and been standing there for a while, and then somebody to my left, I'd say maybe two meters or so away from me, maybe 3 meters. He was a smoker. He's just must have been there for a while and decided he wanted a puff, and he got his roll up out, started smoking, and the smoke drifted my way. And being a non-smoker, you know, I wasn't entirely happy, but I let it go. You know, the world that we live in now, you know, it's quite unusual. I mean, 1985, yeah, wouldn't have been a big deal, but people don't really smoke like as and when they feel like it nowadays. People are more conscious. Anyway, he had his little puff, and as soon as he's finished, the guy standing right next to me, yeah, he got his roll up out and he was puffing away too. And I thought, flaming heck, of all the places to stand amongst all these people, I mean, because I looked around and nobody else was smoking, just these two like within my vicinity. Nobody complained. Everybody was tolerant. I'm telling you, it was a really peace, love and harmony environment at all of these protests. And in fact, the young man next to me, yeah, puffing away, he offered it to me. No, thanks. Anyway, I tolerated him smoking all of his roll-up, and my knees were tired and I was ready to go and sit down. And at the edge of Trafalgar, there's these like stone benches, so I took a pew on there. And lo and behold, the woman next to me, yeah, it was a day for roll-ups. She got her roll-up out and she started puffing away too. Oh, would you mind if I smoke? Oh no, it's all right, it's okay, you carry on. I did mine, but hey, give and take. I thought just for one day, it wouldn't kill me. Anyway, later on, I just thought it was odd when I got home, you know, that evening, thinking over things. And I connected it to Revelation. Revelation chapter 9. Should have had a marker in there. Revelation chapter 9, verses 2 to 4. And it says there, and he opened the pit of the abyss, and smoke ascended out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun was darkened, also the air, by the smoke of the pit. And out of the smoke locusts came forth upon the earth, and authority was given them, the same authority as the scorpions of the earth have. So what happened to me that day? It made me think that we are the locusts at these protests, wherever they're happening in the world. Because what is going down, this New World Order takeover, is headed by Satanists, those of a Luciferian religion. I know David Icke calls them a cult. I'm not going to call them a cult. They are a satanic religion. They're not following any man. They're following their Elohim, Satan the devil. So these locusts are ones who are instructed not to harm. In verse 4 it says, and they were told to harm no vegetation of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of Elohim on their foreheads. Yeah? So these ones are working for the Most High and his son Christ Yeshua, of course. I know that until all of this New World Order takeover, I applied everything in Revelation to Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe they are a Christian faith that has the most truth out of all so-called Christian churches on the earth. But no, I was fooled. I was deceived. I was misled. Yeah, I've got to fess up to that. Watchtower is a trap and a snare. The amount of truth that it holds ensnares you. So one, believe it's a true religion, and then even when you wake up to it being a false religion, you still think, but Bible prophecy has a unique fulfillment amongst the Jehovah's Witnesses. No, it doesn't. It's a false religion, and that's it. There's nothing more to it, except that it is a major trap. It's Satan's last final attempt to entrap the chosen, the called ones. Because again, Satan is a riddler. He's a master deceiver. Once I woke up to Watchtower being a false religion, I still believed they had something to do with the outworking of Scripture. And it's taken me to COVID-19, to this New World Order takeover, to realise that no, that's a wrong viewpoint. The Jehovah's Witnesses have got nothing to do with the fulfillment of Revelation. Nothing at all. I believe the man of lawlessness is these Satanists, these Luciferian world rulers, shadow world rulers. They are the man of lawlessness. The false prophet may yet materialize because they do want to establish a new world religion. Yeah, this is where I'm at, and I'll maybe speak about, well, I know I will speak about a bit more about that another time. I just wanted to talk about mainly We Are the Locusts, and these locusts are going into battle on horses, and they're prepared for conflict. And that's exactly what we're getting at these protests. That's exactly what we're getting. But we are doing harm. Yeah, they had to get that doctor out of there. His words would have stung them too much. They didn't want him talking, and they wanted to shut him up. They wanted to maybe make a spectacle of him. Yeah, that sends a message out to any other doctor who thinks he can come to England and speak to British people. You're going to be banged up in a police cell, cart away in a meat wagon. Yeah, but this is where we're at. We are in spiritual warfare right now. One mammoth fight between good and evil, because their plan is so heinous. It is so evil that it is satanic. It's so clearly satanic. I don't know if which human could think of this plan all by himself. It's demon inspired. That spirit has led them to this day. That supernatural dark spirit has led them to this day. And I also believe that they are eventually summoning demons now into our realm. And at the last Trafalgar Square protest, not the one the weekend, the one before, I think it was the 29th of August, I sat down and spoke to my friend that I went with, and I said, you know what, I just don't feel something's quite adding up. If this new world order takeover is about power and control, wouldn't you rather control billions of people and instead of just 500 million? Where's the power in controlling just 500 million people and depopulating the planet to that level? Where's the power in that? And I said to my friend, and I'm going to say it straight up, I think that there's going to be an alien invasion. And I don't literally believe in aliens. I don't literally mean an alien invasion. What I mean is the demons are going to manifest themselves in the form of an alien life form. Don't be deceived. There are no aliens. There's angels and demons.